This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look.
Hello, welcome to episode 100 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I'm your host. Wow, episode 100. There should be balloons and maybe I should have a glass of Prosecco in my hand, but it somehow doesn't feel appropriate in the middle of a work day, so I haven't. And that is not going to make this episode any more festive though. Before I dive into the two main sections, which is my knitting and or crochet, followed by a section on layer cakes, I am going to announce something special for the 100th episode. If you place an order on the Slow Wardrobe website between now, Friday the 8th of September, and Monday the 25th of September, which is when the next pre-order of layer cakes finishes, and I'm going to announce that pre-order in the layer cake section of this podcast. And with your order, when you place your order, during checkout, there is a notes section on the order. I'll show you a photograph of that so that you can see where that it just says notes. So if you order a bespoke color, for example, then you mention that there in the notes section. And that's where you put the words, everybody happy. Doesn't matter if you do everybody happy as one word or three separate words, but if you enter the words everybody happy in the notes section of the order that you're placing on the website between now, the 8th of September, and the end of Monday, the 25th of September, then everybody who places an order and mentions everybody happy in the notes on that order will be going into a draw, a random number generator draw. I'll number the orders in the sequence that they will come in, and one of those orders will be drawn, and you will, regardless of the size of that order, you will receive your money for that order back. So if you place a big order, you still get all your money back. So it's a one-off thing. It's one lucky winner. Any orders placed between the 8th of September and the 25th of September that mention the words everybody happy in the notes section during checkout will go into the draw to receive the full value of their order, including postage, back as a refund. So I hope that that's enough of a mark of celebrating this 100th episode. Let's get stuck into it. First of all, no knitting at all, just what's been my crochet for the last 2 weeks. Here we go. So yeah, crochet. Talk about obsession. You may or may not have seen in the last couple of episodes that I was doing my little clicks between the takes with my right hand. I'm not very good at clicking my fingers with my right hand, but anyway, I had to because I gave myself repetitive strain injury, which was probably caused by a monster crochet session in Holland with some of the heavier linen yarn that I was using for one of the little phone pouches. Shouldn't have done that, and it's still not completely gone, but it's getting better every day, despite the fact that my crochet obsession has only deepened. As I have been posting on Instagram, and as I mentioned last time, I had started to crochet these little squares, little granny squares that are all in the process of being crocheted together, as you can see here. And that was really inspired by an example of a pattern called Ariana by Amy Christoffers, and another podcaster, a Dutch podcaster called It Is a Sarah, lady called Sarah, of course. who posted pictures of her take on the Ariana sweater, which is a cardigan that is knitted in one very particular colorway rather than lots of different colored squares. But what makes this particular pattern unusual is that the squares are not used lying down as little squares, but they're used on the diagonal, which creates such a different effect. That, in combination with the version that I saw by It Is a Sarah, which is also done in, oh, that's actually even better, even lower. She collapsed. That was done by It Is a Sarah. I think she first did a cardigan and now she did a little top. But in both cases, she used lots of different colors, like I have done. I think I must have had probably about 15 colors or so. I've never actually counted them. I'll count them and put that down here, the number of colors that I used. And I've used those relatively randomly. I tried to make all the squares as varied as I could with the amount of yarn that I had. And then by crocheting them together with a very dark contrast color, so in this case I'm using a almost black yarn, thin, like it's a lace weight yarn. Oh, I've got all my little open stitch holders hanging off my sticky arm because it's still so warm here. So this was a leftover yarn, a lace weight yarn that I had used in the past to knit a jumper for my husband. I had some left on a cone and I thought, oh yes, I really like the idea of using such a dark contrast color to frame all the little squares. You get a little bit of an idea of leather glass windows, really. So I liked that idea, so I've gone multicolored, I've gone with the black framing, but in terms of shape, this is a completely different garment from the original Ariana, which is a cardigan that is kind of hip length with long sleeves and normal kind of edges, button bands and cuffs, etc. In the main color. What I'm doing instead is I've got something that is very, very oversized, as you can see. That width is just as big on the other side. So I've got 3 whole diagonal squares before I go up for the sleeve. The sleeve is 3/4 length and not particularly wide, but it's, you know, you get like a diagonal here and then the sleeve. And I'm making it very, very cropped. I'm then going to pick up stitches along the bottom here. I'm going to do the same with the sleeve, so that's my intention. And then with short rowing, I'm going to fill these triangles with a border, with an edging, probably a 1x1 rib, because it's going to be knitted rather than crocheted, and I like the idea of giving it some texture, so it's probably going to be a 1x1 rib or maybe a 2x2 rib, not sure yet. But it'll be a rib going down in little short row sections, and then eventually, so I'll do a little short row section, go to the next ones, do a short, and keep these stitches on the needle, do the next short row section all the way around, and then do a little bit extra underneath, not a lot, but a little bit extra, just to get that same effect of framing these guys as well in the dark yarn. And then I plan to do the same for the sleeves. And then around the neck, at the moment, I'm just intending to do a fairly narrow edge. Maybe the same width as what I'm going to do underneath the bottom of these little triangles. So that's what I'm planning at the moment, but I'll see how I go. Right now, as you can see, most of these squares are just held together with a selection of different stitch holders. I'm working from the bottom up. The way you do it is you end up framing the tops of one row of squares, or maybe I should call them diamonds. One row of diamonds with the connecting color. Then you come with, on the next round, you frame the bottom half of the second layer of diamonds, and in the process of crocheting along that edge, you pick up and do slip stitches along the edge of the first border. So that then connects these two together. Then the next row, which is what I'm working on at the moment, is you end up doing the tops again of that second layer, and then you come back again with doing the bottom of the next layer, and then you attach these again. So you have to go around every zigzag twice, once to border the bottom, the second one to border the top and connect them together. So it's a slow and arduous process, but it's also extremely mindless, because in terms of how you do your stitches, it's exactly the same as if you were going around. So they're just all the double crochets going around with like a couple of extra stitches in the points and whatever to connect them nicely. And I'll just keep going until the whole thing is connected, and then deciding exactly what I'm going to do with those borders. So that's all I've been working on. Completely obsessed. I've tried it on. I'll show you a picture where I tried it on yesterday before I'd even started doing this. So the whole thing was constantly falling apart because I wasn't using all closing stitch markers. So the whole thing kept falling apart on me. So it's a bit of a half and half photograph. But here's a photograph of me trying it on for the first time without any of the border in place yet yesterday. I liked it so much. So the obsession has only deepened. I'm working like a mad woman on this every 3 minutes that I have. So I'm very confident that by the next podcast, I will be able to wear it and showing it to you as a finished garment. And if you want to see my progress, I am posting on it on Instagram, either in my stories or on my posts as well. So you'll see a bit of update there. But that's it. That's been it. No other knitting, no other pattern work. It's very busy at the studio as well. We're going flat out. So I haven't been doing any pattern work at the studio, which is where I should be doing it because it's daytime and then I can concentrate best, of course. But I hope to get to it as soon as I can. In the meantime, though, there's lots of news on Layercake as well. So far my fiber antics these past 2 weeks, I'm loving what I'm doing. And if you have any questions about it, shoot me a message. I think in the previous episode I already mentioned exactly which yarns I'm using. So but again, happy to repeat that if you missed it. And for now, let's move on to the Layercake section of the podcast. Enjoy. Oh my goodness. I think I'm facing my biggest challenge today, trying to record this. Hottest week of the year, and I am changing in and out of a series of new, in the warm, the thicker linen love dresses. Now, these love dresses are lovely and cool to wear once you've got them on. But of course, I'm putting them on, taking them off, and trying to show them slightly autumnal, even though the temperatures are sweltering. I have come in extra early to the studio to try and record this before it warms up. But of course, the building has retained the heat from yesterday. I think yesterday was the hottest day of the year so far. And it is absolutely sweltering already. So apart from standing here slowly melting while talking to you, the other challenge is to get the clothes on and off me because it's sticky. Anyway, color number 1. This is Mist in a petite love dress, on me being 5'10". So it just about reaches my knees, 39.5 inches in length. And with a petite love dress, the pockets hit me at my waist level. So of course, if you're shorter, then your torso is shorter as well, and then those pockets will drop down further on your body. But if you're my kind of height and you think, oh, I can wear a love dress a little bit like a tunic, you can, but keep in mind those pockets will hit you high on. The shape is still there, the proportions are still there, but because everything is proportionally shorter, not just at the hem, those curves hit you slightly differently. Now, I'm relatively short-waisted for my height, so in terms of where my bust sits in the shaping of the dress, that's still okay, but those are all elements to keep in mind if you are on the taller side and you go for one of the petite dresses. So, first color, Mist. See, I'm missing my pockets because I'm used to them being here. It's not a problem if they're higher, but you do have to reach for them, of course. So that was the first color. I am going to throw on a, again, neutral color smock over the top of this just to show you how it compares to some of our other neutral colors. I'm probably going to keep this episode relatively simple. Just get through the colors of the dresses, not do too much styling yet. And probably in the next episode, I will style these up a lot more. I will see if I can run this pre-order until just after the next episode. So run it for a full 2 weeks. And that will give everybody a bit of a chance to cool down and see more styling options should you want. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to show you anything today. Let's start with that smock. So here is a black gingham smock, pockets at the size where I'm used to, about 4 inches lower than on that petite dress. And so this is a size 1 petite love dress in Mist, a size 1 smock in black gingham, and a small long pair of baggies in the steel herringbone. So this is just to show you that with the baggies, they are quite roomy. So even if you are up to a size 20 on your bottom, the size small baggies will fit you still. They're still quite roomy. I just tend to wear them really super oversized because that's what I like. But even the small size baggies will fit around my size 20 bum, as you can see, and there's room to spare. When in doubt about the measurements of any of the sizes, every product page on the website has a fit guide. Just below the product description is information about our stock system, but also a fit guide. If you click on that, you get specific size recommendations for bodies compared to the sizes of layer cakes, but you also get the measurements of the garment that you are looking at on that page. So if you think, oh, if does such and such size fit me around my hips, for example, or length, or bust, waist, etc., it's all there on the fit guide pages. So I love this outfit. I think it's beautiful. So that smock together with the Mist colorway, they go really nicely. They both have a beautiful pale undyed linen in them and slight differences in the color, but kind of tonally really nicely matched, I think. So it's a really, really lovely combination of neutrals with different kind of textures, and they're just different enough from each other to stand out, each in their own right, but the whole outfit is muted and the shapes do most of the talking. So I'll jump straight into the second color of the dress. It's another petite dress. I'm also going to show you the regular and the long lengths on me, but the second dress is also a petite one, and it's a color that you've never seen before. Here we go. Here it is. Emerald. Isn't she a beauty? I adore this color. I think it is so pretty. It's a cross weave of a grey and a green, named after the beautiful emerald color dyed by Sharon from 5 Moons Yarns on my Yak Blend 2 base. It's got the same kind of hues in it as this beautiful color green. It really shimmers from up close. You can really see the cross weave and how effective it is. And the overall color is muted slightly by the dark grey in the cross weave, or medium grey I should call it. It's not actually that dark. It's probably comparable to the slate grey in the cocoons in terms of color, and that then woven with a very, very rich deep green together make emeralds. I adore the color. I think it's beautiful. I hope you do too. It's a green that, because it is pulled back a little bit by that grey, can be worn by different seasons. So it's not particular to just the warm color seasons. The grey cools down the green, and as you can see, as a winter, I can wear this really well. So I will pair it with a more colorful bottom, because I'm still wearing the size small long steel baggies. So I will swap these for a pair of the small check baggies, which are a gorgeous match for this green. Here it comes. Baggies in the large regular size this time, so cropped on me, and you can see that little bit of extra width, which of course really manifests itself around my hips and my bum as well. And I can't tell you the difference that it makes on a warm day like this, whether your ankles are covered by fabric or not. So if you normally like wearing your trousers long down to the floor, maybe because you're not keen on showing off your ankles, but you find that these days are too sweltering, then consider pulling up those baggies. So for example, if I grab a pair of the long baggies, which of course cover my ankles, and I then pull up the waistband to the bottom where my bra band sits, that sits there very comfortably. You'll find that if you do that with the trousers, with the baggies, you can pull them all the way up there. Same when you're going through the rain or through the mud. Pull them up to the bottom of your bra band. It creates this kind of princess seam because it's sitting just below your bra, and of course they then sit cropped on you, and on a day like today it's like lovely and cool. So a bit of a tip, I hope you find that useful. So you can see here the colors, the combination of the emerald with all the different greens. You'll definitely find a couple of squares that are almost or a complete match for the emerald. And I'll pop on a very colorful smock here as well, just to show it with one more color before we move on to a dress color number 3. A size 2 smock in magenta, slightly more roomy of course than the black gingham that I had on with the mist dress, and as such slightly longer as well, so you can see that it almost but not quite covers the bottom edge of the petite dress. So that is a result of wearing the size 2 smock over the size 1 dress. But in terms of how they sit on top of each other, that works really well. And look at how these bright colors play together. Of course, the magenta also pulls up any of the pinks and purples that is in the small check. Again, the small check there showing its versatility, just like the large bright check did. The small check also has lots and lots of different colors in it that you see back throughout the range, and as a result is a really good complementary garment to have in like a duster, for example, or as a pair of trousers, because, or as a smock even, because of how you can throw it on with almost anything else in the range. That was color number 2, emerald. Let's move on to number 3, shall we? Number 3 is called Looking for Lilac, and you've seen that already in the recent pre-order that we did for the overalls. But let's see what it looks like in a love dress. I hope you'll love it. We're going from one extreme to another. The other two dresses were petites. This is a long dress. It's a full 10 inches, I think, longer than the petite. I think they're 39.5, 44, 39.5, 44.5, and 49.5 in terms of length. So my cropped baggies have almost disappeared underneath the dress, as you can see. So if I try and pull, well, actually I could just pull the dress up. I was going to say if I can pull down the baggies and show a bit more of them, but I can do that by pulling up the dress, of course. Then you can see that again, here are some of the purples in the small check baggies. So you can see that small check, again, is a lovely combination with the Looking for Lilac love dress. And you can see how different the silhouette becomes when you lengthen the dress. So if you are of shorter stature and you like the length, that really long look of a dress, then consider going for the regular length dress. So if you're around the 5'2", 5'3" range and you like a long dress, then the regular dress will be a similar dress length to you as this is on me, if you like. So when in doubt, you measure yourself. The dress lengths that are posted on the website and that I've just given you are measured from the shoulder down to the bottom hem. And I tend to do all the garment measurements. I take a point on the garment. So nape of the neck, for example, the nape of my neck is here, but the top of the dress is a little bit lower. So that's why I always take a point on the dress itself to measure the length. I do that with the other garments as well. I don't take fictitious points and where that point should be approximately in relationship to the dress. It's a point on the dress measured down, and that also makes it a lot easier for you to compare that measurement with measurements of garments that you have at home if you want to compare and see if certain lengths will or won't work for you. Same goes with widths, etc. So let me show you a different pair of baggies to go with this, because we've got another herringbone that is almost perfect match to go with this beautiful Looking for Lilac. And then I'll show the Looking for Lilac with the large bright check as well, because of course we had that in the dusters, for example. Let's go. Pansy, the pansy herringbone. Look at it together with this glorious Looking for Lilac. Very similar kind of relationship color-wise these two have as the emerald does with the mist does with the steel herringbone. The steel just being slightly lighter, but very similar color. Same with the pansy, slightly lighter than the Looking for Lilac. I'll grab that duster now. Medium length duster without ties in the large bright check. I mean, come on, gorgeous outfit or what? By the way, we're out of stock of the large bright check fabric. So showing you this, so that we've got a couple of garments left, a couple of dresses, one or two dusters. That's probably about it. Maybe a couple of play suits. That's all that's left in the large bright check. So I'm showing you this more from a styling perspective than a sales perspective, because I haven't got a lot more large bright check for sale at the moment. There is a large check coming up though, as one of these new love dresses, so hold your horses. But just wanted to show you how this goes together. I think it's stunning. Really, really nice and lively colors and bright without being loud, which I pride to be my trademark with all these beautiful cross weaves. Let's move on to the next color of the dresses. Here it comes. And here is the in-between length. And the next color. So this is a size 1 regular length love dress in the color Atlantic. Might have been the most popular color. I'm not sure actually. I should check that. Definitely was one of the popular colors in the recent Dungarees launch pre-order. And here it is as a love dress. So I'll quickly grab the emerald to show you the difference in color, because compared to the emerald, this tealy dress is very blue. Let me grab it. So here it is, emerald next to Atlantic. See the difference? And see how much bluer Atlantic is. Atlantic really is a proper teal compared to emerald being a proper green. So let me dress up this Atlantic dress for you. First off, another near color match with one of the herringbones. This, of course, is the teal herringbone, firm favorite still. And again, a gorgeous combination with the teal that is in Atlantic, doing exactly the same as the Looking for Lilac dress does with the pansy herringbone, and the mist dress does with the steel herringbone. Here is the Atlantic with the teal herringbone. I'll do the same trick again of grabbing one of the smocks and throwing that over the top. And again, it's to show you a color comparison of a popular color that's already in the collection and showing you how that goes with this particular teal. And then I'll move on to the last color of the dresses. So I realized that I'm keeping it relatively short in terms of styling this week, but bear with me, it's purely because I'm melting. Here it comes. Another 2 cross weaves that make magic together, and it's for a good reason. Of course, they've got a color in common. This is Peacock. Peacock being a cross weave of a bright, fresh, grassy green, cross woven with a teal. And then the Atlantic taking that same teal and cross weaving it with a grey. And then in the baggies, taking again that same teal and cross weaving it with a natural. Throw all of them together. All 3 fabrics have a color in common. So of course they look stunning together. So now this is again a size 2 smock, because that's just what I happen to have. Size 2 smock over a size 1 regular love dress. So if this were a size 1 smock, it would of course knit me in a little bit more here at the top, and it would fall slightly shorter over the dress. But as you can see, that even with that bigger size smock, there's still plenty of dress to see underneath, followed by that next tier of the herringbone baggies. So another lovely combination, keeping it all very tonal this week on purpose rather than going big contrast. I thought, well, actually, let's show you the colors that are similar and that really go very nicely, that sing very quietly with these 5 dress colors, because there's one more color to come. Do you want to see it? A new large check, and a very different large check this time. So I so hope that you are just as smitten with it as I am. Here it is. Here it is. Fig, Atlantic, Magpie, medium slate grey, undyed of course, mist. They're all represented in this new large check. A lot more contrast in terms of dark and light, so very dramatic in the delivery of these large checks. And in its way, almost as bright as the large bright check was, because of those big contrasts. There are a couple of seasons in the seasonal color spectrum of colors that suit you, that really suit large contrasts. So this one is for you. Talking about contrast, I've gone for lack of contrast in the baggies. I've gone back to the steel baggies. These a number of these squares have got herringbone weaves, because one of the things that you can really see particularly well in this cross weave, in this large cross weave, the large check cross weave, is that there are lots of different weaves in the fabric. We have herringbone, we have twill, we have gabardine, we have flat weaves. There are a lot of different weaves, and that's what makes those colors shimmer together in different ways of different parts of the fabric. So the main thing that comes across in a video like this is the contrast of the dark and light colors, but when you see it up close, there is so much going on in this fabric. It is really beautiful. It's stunning. The weave is as important in this fabric as the colors are. So here it is with the steel herringbone baggies, match made in heaven, because that herringbone is coming back further up in the fabric. And I'll throw over one more smock to again show you how you can finish one of these love dresses with a smock in a color that complements the rest of the outfit. And then that's it for this week before I melt completely. Hopefully I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with some more styling options for these different colors. But here's another smock for you. We keep going bigger and bigger. This happens to be a size 3 smock. That's all I have in the fig, because it's the fig that I wanted to show you particularly in combination with this dress. I mean, look what happens, just that edging here at the top, where you see the blocks coming back as different stripes along the neckline. There is so much fun to be had with this fabric. So this is a size 3 smock on me and over the top of my love dress. And again, with the dolman sleeves, beautifully illustrating that the fabric will fill part of that extra space that I have here. So if you're in a situation that you have lost weight and you've got smocks and tabards or other tunics of mine that are really roomy on you, then consider wearing them like this with a dress underneath, where a lot of that extra space, they just end up hanging down, a lot of that extra space disappears. And rather than you feeling swamped, the dress ends up carrying the tunic on top, if you know what I mean. So fig in combination with the beautiful large new check. I hope you like my love dress pre-order. I'm trying to do them every autumn once after they were so successfully received 2 years ago. So this is the offering of this autumn. Any questions, give me a shout. If you want to see swatches before you order, then I can send you swatches. That's no problem. That's always available. And I'll see you again soon.